Oh, it's a giant.
Welcome to Cascade.
Cascade.
Cascade, man, it's the place.
Cascade Lake, Idaho, baby.
Cascade.
The JT crew packed their bags to head west to the mile-high playground known as Lake Cascade. Surrounded by mountains, Lake Cascade is a reservoir located in the western part of Idaho and is part of the Boise National Forest. Cascade is the fourth largest lake in the state and has a surface area of 47 square miles. Though the lake contains smallmouth bass, trout, salmon, and other species of fish. It is the perch and the scenic views that the JT crew is after this time.
Oh, yeah. Good fish. Good fish. Just crush that spoon. I hope this will. Oh, yeah. Woohoo! Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Look at that tank.
Oh my
Beautiful
God.
orange fins. That thing's got to be 15 and a half inches. Yes! That's how you start on a trip with a bang right there, baby.
What an
Look at the
absolute giant.
size of that perch. Just a tank.
What do you hit on?
Good old Lindy perch colored rattling flyer.
My gosh.
Gosh.
An absolute giant fish.
Yes!
Buddy.
Woo!
It's a good one. So much fun on the pan fishing there.
Oh, it's a giant.
That's one of the smaller size ones out here. Believe it or not. Jake keeps calling these the pups. Can't wait to see what one of the big ones looks like.
All right, so this is what everyone's after on Cascade, the elusive 2-pound perch.
Wow, that's a big tank.
Yeah, it's a pretty good one for sure.
What'd you get him on?
Old number 4 rip and wrap.
In the perch color?
Yep, the old natural perch. Just tip with a couple maggots on the bottom and you just can't beat them out here. These fish are about the most aggressive perch you'll find anywhere in the country.
What kind of structure are we sitting on here?
So what we're working here today is more of a big flat. We've kind of got some rolling hills. Some of the deeper structure on the lake really when we're chasing perch. We don't really push much past 30. And in here we're sitting somewhere around that 28 to 29 foot, maybe pushing 30 in some spots. So,
and they have the big hard baits. Those seem to work the best for these fish.
You know, I think these fish nearly always are just so aggressive, so fired up. You're hard pressed to beat any of these slab wraps, rip and wraps. Your kind of medium-sized spoons, that 16th ounce spoon.
Okay.
You can just hardly beat those out here.
Yeah, I'm used to fishing perch in South Dakota, and you're using micro tungstens and plastics, and they're so fickle. But out here, they just crush that.
Yeah, you know, these fish in here, the apex predator. There's nothing else in here that these things have to worry about, and they know it, and they smack anything that's a decent size. They're gonna eat it. So.
This might be a nicer fish.
Is that the one?
I'm not gonna count my chickens, but it feels like a good one. Took a long. This
Could be one of the nicer ones for me.
Really digging.
It's a fatty.
That's a good one.
Nice. Got a belly on it.
Definitely.
Yeah, that one took a lot of cooks, man. There's 2, 3 of them came in and dinking around, come and go, and
I got him. Good shot, bud.
Oh. Good one? Alright, feels decent. Dude.
Alright.
That's
guys.
a giant.
So we had to make a little move. We're out fishing some deeper water here, about 28 foot. Went ahead and pushed into the 12 foot, stuck on the jig and wrap, and got us a decent one here. We have a low pressure day. We've got a big front coming in tomorrow, and so we think these fish are really starting to fire up. And hopefully they continue to fire up throughout the rest of the day, and we can pull in a couple more of these.
Travis Billmore here with JT Outdoor Products. We just made a move. Oh, there we go. So anyway, we're on a kind of a sunken road here. There's like a sunken bridge out here. We just made a move. We had a couple marks right away. It was decent.
So Max, you and I have been talking about doing this trip to Cascade for, you know, many years now, and obviously it's a bucket list for a lot of people. There's been kind of a lot of press on this, but man, what a special place, and it's pretty cool that, you know, the group of guys that we have too. I mean, we run a busy tournament schedule, so it's tough to, you know, find time to just get together and have fun and just go fishing without the pressure.
Yeah, you know, really that's what these trips are about to me. You know, I've been fortunate enough to travel all over the country, all over the world, chasing perch, chasing walleye, chasing everything, but really what comes down to what makes a trip really memorable for me is the people that you share it with. I mean, this is a bucket list trip and something I've always wanted to do, but to do it with a great group of guys and a great group of friends like this, that makes the memories even better. You know, that 2-3 that I caught this morning, you know, because I caught it with you guys, that fish is going to stick with me for a long time compared to any other 2-pounders I've caught in the past where it's just, you know, just a normal fishing trip. This is something that it's special from the get-go, and it's special. It's super memorable.
Yeah, I mean, everything about it. I mean, look around. I mean, you're just surrounded by mountains, and you know, the giant perch is really just a bonus. I mean, it's a special place, and I think a lot of people are a little bit intimidated by doing the trip because you're so many states away, and you know, we had to put some effort into the preparation. Obviously, you don't just throw everything in the back of a truck and, you know, take off day before. You and I know how it is.
Yeah, right.
You know, you throw things together and everything's last minute. But with this, what we really had to do is, you know, plan our gear. We had to ship things out in advance. We had to rent some vehicles. But really, in the end, you know, everything came together pretty seamlessly. And just with a little bit of preparation, it's definitely a trip that really anybody can pull off.
Yeah, and it was, you know, it really didn't break the bank too much to come out here. I mean, probably my most expensive part was just the plane ticket to get here. You know, everything else,
which is still affordable.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about you know, we found our tickets for $350, and you know, got a cabin for $100 a piece. A beautiful cabin right here on the lake where you could snowmobile right out of. Yep. Snowmobile rental was affordable, so
oh yeah,
you know, it's definitely very doable, and what a special place and a memory that I'll never forget.
Me neither. I cannot wait to come back. When I came out here yesterday morning, first 5 minutes of the day, I just sat there and did circles looking at the mountains.
Just
you know,
in awe.
Where else in the country can you catch giant perch and, you know, sit there and have mountain ranges surrounding you? You know.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's get a few more 2-pounders.
Yeah, let's get one more.
So we're catching a lot of nice perch out here. Kind of I would say let's see what this one goes. I'd say this
14.
one's probably about average of what we've been catching. They definitely vary on, you know, how fat they are, but kind of I'd say the shelf mark for kind of a mounter is everybody's looking for that over 2, you know, 2.5 pound. Something like this is probably a little over 1.5 pounds.
Smallest we've probably been seeing is like 12 inches though, 13.
Yeah, a couple of smaller ones here and there, but the consistency is unbelievable. I mean, it's really something to see. And then especially, I mean, you coming from, you know, Midwest lakes and glacier lakes and stuff like that, you get, you know, you catch one like that, that might be your biggest fish of the trip. And
can't go very many places having a 14-inch perch average.
And then to catch or something like a 15, which that's kind of what we're all after, 15 and a half, 16-inch fish that's, you know, 2.5+ pounds. That's what a guy's looking for.
Definitely.
Just wanted to talk a little bit about the equipment that I'm using and then how we're using the graphs to locate this fish. I'm using a Vexilar FL28. It's been a critical tool. So first, we're using ripping wraps. The fish here are super aggressive, so we're finding that the bait that has a little bit of a rattle to it is drawing in more fish. And what happens, and I'll show you here in a little bit, is a lot of times you'll just see a little hint of a fish. They'll be on the outside of the cone. And we're finding that these fish are coming in anywhere from a foot to all the way up to 8 feet off the bottom. So the auto zoom is really critical on this, because if you see any hint of any kind of a mark, you want to raise right above those. And a lot of times that the green, those fish on the outside of the cone, you'll call them in with the rattle bait and it'll turn bright red and it'll be directly underneath your bait. So again, they're super aggressive, so we're using a really aggressive bait. I found that the 30-inch gold digger is really working well on this bite. Has a pretty light tip, but these aren't like your typical perch. I mean, these are big fish, so you do need some backbone. Typically back home we'd use like the panhandlers, a rod like that, real finesse, but really you need the backbone. So the 28-inch shiver or the 30-inch gold digger has really been the rod of choice, because we are using some larger hard baits. So with the way the fish are coming in at all different depths, our approach here is really to try to work as much water column as possible. You can see there in the auto zoom, and that's the bottom 6 feet, what I'm doing is trying to cover most of that column, and really what I'm watching for is just any indication of a fish. So a lot of times they'll come in as a small mark, and what I'll do is I'll just reel up to that and just get right above them, and that small mark will turn into a big mark, because you're really calling them in with this ripping wrap. And a lot of times your bites, you know, you'll end up being even out of the column. They'll come in and you'll raise them up and they'll chase it. But this auto zoom has really been critical today, because it really zooms in on everything that's happening in that bottom 6 feet. So again, really just looking for any indication of a fish in the area, and then just trying to stay right above them and get them to chase it upward.
It's a long bugger.
Yeah.
good season.
I love it.
Yeah. So Matt, are you gonna kick it off and then we'll answer?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it was actually a really good moment there, and you guys just, as soon as you heard the beep, you guys stopped talking.